Okay, well here I am in Chester at the River Dee, which is a place that, as you can probably see, a lot of motorbikers kind of come and congregate at because it's a really nice part of Chester. Nice view here, right by the River Dee. And I'm just about to embark on my first ever videoed motorbike ride. Here's my trusty steed here, the Honda Hornet. Well, it's not got a name on it, otherwise known as the CB600S, slightly different version. Basically a Hornet without the name tag on it. And yeah, we're going to Pontblyddyn, the Old Stores Motorbike Café, or the Old Stores Cafe, which is a motorbike cafe, however you want to phrase it exactly. I'm going to basically go, let's start it up, just a minute. There we go. Starts first time, touch wood. There we go. Hope you can hear me above the engine noise there. Luckily, it's not too much of a loud exhaust. There we go, visor down. I don't know what difference this is going to make to the sound. Let's give it a go. Clunking away there. First gear, and away we go. Let's give this motorbike chap a wave. There we go, didn't see me. Maybe he did, maybe he just thought I won't give him a wave, I'm parking up. So this is one of my favourite rides in the area. I think this guy's parking here. Very popular place, as you can see. There's definitely one place to come if you've got a motorbike or a car. Come down on your motorbike because you're much more likely to get a car space. Chester's quite a popular destination for motorbikers and for visitors alike, to be honest. It's just a really pretty town, well, technically a city. Some people describe it as a town if you come from a bigger city, but it is a city. It's got a cathedral. It's known, it's got a lot of old architecture here going right back to Roman times. Just on my right here, you won't see it, is the old amphitheatre. We're just going through a bridge here that's some old Roman walls, and it's a Sunday, so everyone's out enjoying themselves. Nice sunny day here in summer, eating, drinking, and getting arrested by the looks of it, possibly. I'm not sure what's going on there, but the police are out anyway. There's a chap in front of me blowing his music out, which I don't mind, to be honest. Get him away too. So the way I'm going to go isn't the quickest way, but I don't think motorcyclists are interested in the quickest way, to be honest. We like the scenic route, and that's after all why, unless you're going to work, we much prefer to go the scenic way, because that's what it's all about. In fact, even when I go to work, I generally happily spend 20 minutes longer getting to work and back just to go the scenic way. As you can see, we're just going down lots of pretty houses here, old houses, shops and whatnot. And as I mentioned earlier, Chester's very famous for its old Roman walls, and the bridge ahead there is part of the old Roman walls, and we're about to cross the bridge over the River Dee into a kind of quite a nice suburb of Chester called Hambridge. And there we go. You won't be able to see the River Dee because my camera is attached to my chest rather than my head. It's my first time out with my camera, and I'm basically just giving it a bit of a test, just to see what it's like. I did wonder about putting a camera, like having a helmet camera on my chin, as I've seen some mounts do, but I quite like the idea of putting it on my chest. I think it kind of keeps I'm hoping it kind of keeps more of a stable shot. Yeah, I've got like a chest harness on here. Okay. As is always the way in Chester on a weekend, there's usually a bit of traffic, but I'm hoping we can get through that fairly quickly. We don't really, it's a bit spoiled in Chester. People complain about the traffic, but when you compare it to some of the big cities, certainly we don't really have that much at all. I know some people that might complain about being in traffic for 2 or 3 minutes and think it's the end of the earth, but I mean, to be honest, there are some points where really clog up around here, but I think we're okay. Yeah. So yeah, if I wanted to get to the Old Stores Motorbike Café quickly, I'd basically just go up a Chester bypass, and that would be about twice as quick. But again, I've got no interest in zooming up a bypass at 70 miles an hour in a straight line, just getting to a motorbike cafe. I don't really think, if anyone there, if I got to the motorbike cafe and people asked me how I got there and I said I came straight up the bypass, I think instantly I'd be seen as a bit of a fraud, to be honest. I think, here's just a fake rider who's just bought a motorbike and didn't really buy it for the right reasons. Or maybe that's just what I think of myself. That's probably more the truth. I don't think anyone would care to give two hoots about it, really. Yeah. So the bike I'm on, I bought this just over a year ago after a long hiatus away from motorcycling. So I'm what's called what do they call them? Back again bikers, or born again bikers. So I used to be a biker back in my 20s. I say 20s, literally until I was about 21, from about the age of 17, and gave it all up. Well, I gave it all up because I was in the RAF and I moved around a bit and whatnot, and then moved to London, and then came back, and after a good few years, and I was kind of got back into it, and then got married, had kids. Didn't really want to get a motorbike when I had kids, just to save money really, and pay for the mortgage and the food and the kids' clothes and the kids' bicycles and the kids' Christmas presents, and well, you know, it goes on if you've had kids. I didn't begrudge giving up motorbikes, but I always had a hankering for it. Anyway, so last year, just to put it in context, I'm 60 now. So last year when I was 59, I thought, I'm going to get myself a motorbike. In a very quick succession, I actually bought myself two motorbikes. One was the DLZ 400, which is where my true interests lie. I like the kind of off-roady type thing. And unfortunately, that's sawn at the minute because it failed its MOT. But so I also bought last year a Honda Hornet, this one that I'm riding on, and it's still it's the big. I never used to have a big bike, and I wouldn't call this the big bike. This is what most people would call a mid-range motorbike. And I was a bit intimidated by it when I first bought it, but very quickly I think it's just a wonderful motorbike, and I've ridden it quite a while since then, lots of weekends. About a couple of months ago I went on a 4-day tour of Northumberland, and I ride around Wales on it. And I really enjoy it. I don't really know, I'm not much of a mechanic, and I don't know much about motorbikes, and I don't really follow motorbikes. But what I do like about it is I think Honda motorbikes and indeed cars have an amazing reputation for reliability. And certainly nothing's gone wrong with this in the last year, which is a good thing. It had low mileage on it, so I think it had about, what was it, about 11,000 miles on it when I bought it. And it's a really kind of nice, smooth engine. What I think is quite quiet. Obviously, there are quieter bikes out there. And as I understand it, it's basically a kind of slightly detuned version of I think it was a CBR 600 that was way back in the day. This is about, I think it's made in about 2002, 2003. So, and in really excellent condition. Yeah, so I really enjoy it. So we're going through a place called kind of Lates Lane at the minute, which is quite a nice part of Chester. There we go. So I'm coming out the back way here. 30 mile an hour limit. There we go. So I don't know really what I'm hoping to gain from videoing this, other than I'm seeing people on the interweb net just posting stuff about all kinds. I think what I quite like about motorbiking, I'll just give you a bit of background. I'm also a cyclist. I'm not a great cyclist, by the way. I'm a kind of weekend cyclist and a bit of a evening cyclist, and I'm not kind of your Lycra type people. Strangely, I do have I think 8 bicycles at the minute, and all of them are you would think that someone with that kind of passion spends loads of money on bicycles, but I don't. I think the cheapest was about £30. The most, apart from one bike, they're all second hand. And I think the most expensive second hand one I bought was £230, and all in between then. Yeah, apart from one bike that I bought new about 15 years ago, once I got my endowment came in. If you know what endowments were, kind of a mortgage thing, certainly something I regret doing, really, because they were just a load of rubbish, weren't they, endowments, if you ever had one. Yeah. I think what I quite like about motorbiking, and I also like about cycling as well, I think in equal measure, is I like the way you really have to think about riding. You're much more in touch with the road. Obviously, you're much more exposed as well. Statistics tell you you're much more exposed to harm and things like that, which is true. But I like the way you can choose where you are in the road. You have to you can pick a line, much less so with a car. You can only slightly pick a line with a car, just slightly going 1 foot either side or 2 foot either side, and in that respect, then if you call that picking a line, whereas on a motorbike, you can kind of hog either side of the road. You can go from one side of the road to the other, generally trying to make turns as best you can. Go past this, and just keep an eye on this now. There we go. Yeah. You're setting yourself up. Always you have to think a lot more on a bicycle. People can't see you. Much less aware. Be aware of them. I certainly think that being a motorcyclist when I was 17 and to about the age of 21 really helped inform me and make me a safer car driver. In that you always look. I always look primarily for motorbikes first, because if you look for a motorbike first and they're aware of how small they are, you're almost invariably definitely going to see cars. The same, I don't think, works the other way around. All you've driven is cars all of your life, and all you look out for is cars, and you're not aware of the dangers of being on a motorbike. I don't really think you keep your eyes out for motorcyclists in the same way. You don't have a respect for them in the same way. So we're just coming up almost into Wales very soon. We're in a place called Gorstella, and as you can see, quite a nice country roads here. It's 40 mile an hour limit, bendy roads, which is nice. And I don't know if you can see, you probably can't see it off to the left. I'm just slightly above about 1 foot above the camera here, but we're starting to see the North Wales hillside in the distance there, which is just wonderful. And where we're going here, the cafe is what I think. I've been to a few cafes, not many to be honest, and I certainly haven't been to any cafes down south, in the south of England, but I've been to a few around here. And the Old Stores Café really is a spectacle. It's the people there who've done it and made it a motorbike cafe. They've really gone to the nth degree to make it feel homely, and it's got loads and loads of memorabilia there. It's got helmets, old motorbikes sitting around, pictures, bits and bobs, and it's by a little stream. And on a day like today, I'm envisaging there being quite a lot of people there. They've got both a motorbike car park and a car park, for people who might be motorbikers, just want to visit, and or people who just want to visit. Okay, let's just slow down here a bit. 30 miles an hour. It's an absolutely fantastic cafe, and what it is also is it's considered kind of the gateway, if you like, to the route to Conway, and indeed other places in North Wales. So, there's a great road up to Conway there, and indeed, if you want to go a little bit further, it takes you up into Bala, and of course the rest of the north and Llangollen and the rest of rest of North Wales. It's just a fantastic route there as well. The main thing that I think I always remembered about motorbiking, and certainly it's come back to me, is what I'm doing now. I would never ever go out in my car in the whole 40 odd years I've been driving a car just for the sake of having a ride or drive, if you like. Absolutely never did it, not once. And yet here I am now, going up to the motorbike cafe. Now you might say I might have a Coke when I get there, but to be honest, that's not. I'm not going. I might do, I might not. But I'm literally just coming out for the motorbike ride, and this is really enjoyable. And I think one of the things about motorcycling and also cycling, and in fact, to be honest, just a bit further than that, is any kind of physical exercise as well, is that you absolutely have to concentrate on what you're doing. And that, I think, is a great thing to do. You can put the worries of the world behind you and actually, if you like, just concentrate on something else. You can't, especially motorcycling, you can't really allow other things to enter your brain. And in fact, while I'm talking to you now, I'm really trying to discipline myself in that I'm kind of thinking out loud. I'm watching the road first and just thinking out loud, if you like, and just talking. So speaking to you here is really my second priority. So yeah, and I think there seems to be a lot of problems these days with people having mental health issues, and I wonder if part of it is because people don't have their escape mechanisms anymore. I think they're happy at home watching their YouTube and stuff like that on Facebook. And to be honest, I'm a bit guilty of that myself. In fact, quite a lot of guilty about that. But I certainly make sure that I go out and do some exercise and get out and about and have a beer with a mate and stuff like that and whatnot. And just doing this motorbiking, it took me even just thinking about it this morning just makes you think I'm going to prepare for a motorbike and for a motorbike ride, and I'm just going to hunt out my camera and I'm going to put that on, and just little things that take you away from I think this kind of social media digital world. As much as obviously I'm going to be putting this on the digital world. Yeah, so we're coming through a place called Kinnerton here, I think, Higher Kinnerton. We're in Wales, and obviously the Welsh are they still impose a lot of places the 20 mile an hour speed limit. Yeah, I think it's debatable. I have my views on that, which some people may or may not agree with. I understand that it's safer than travelling at 30 miles an hour. But at what level do you? At what level do you stop reducing the speed? Could it be that in 10 or 20 years, we start saying, well, actually, a lot less people die if we now travel at 15 miles an hour? Yeah, so it's debatable, and anyway, I'm not going to linger on that because I might start offending people and whatnot. Yeah. Right, so back up to the speed limit. National speed limit applies. I don't consider myself to be a fast car driver or fast motorcycle rider, and I'm quite proud of that actually, because I do know people that ride motorbikes and are faster than myself. In part because I'm freshly back into motorcycling, but I'd rather ride at a medium speed and be safe than perhaps go beyond I'd rather not go beyond my comfortable limits, and that's not a new thing, obviously. And a lot of people do say ride at your pace, and I think that's really important. So when I went on this ride through Northumberland a couple of months ago, I was really quite worried that I was going with my cousin and a couple of his friends who are kind of long-term motorcyclists, and I was a bit worried that they might go at a pace that I was not comfortable with, and I'd be constantly putting myself in situations that were beyond my limits. As it happened, it was okay, and because I explained, I thought it was really important before I went to explain my limitations and what I was comfortable with, what I was comfortable doing. There's a couple of motorcyclists now. I'm going to give them a wave. There we go. It's funny. I don't know if you saw they were on scooters, and some motorcyclists don't wave at scooters. They think, oh, I'm not going to wave at scooters, or maybe even, you know, I think, well, why not? You know, they might just be budding motorcyclists. I think it just gets them into it a bit and makes them feel welcome. Although I'm not sure if they wave back or just gave a nod back. I do nod, by the way, but I quite like waving. I think it's more positive. Yeah. For a while, I on a motorbike, I used to nod, and then I even thought about perfecting the nod. I thought, how do I nod? Because a lot of motorcyclists do this kind of nod and a side nod of the head, isn't it? It's not just a nod; it's like a side angle nod. So I also started to develop that and practice that a bit. I thought, does that look more positive? Is like does a simple straightforward up and down look like I'm new to the motorcycling business or, you know, hobby or whatever? And so I thought, well, I need to perfect my side nod. That way it looks like I'm a proper motorcyclist. Here we go. Keep an eye on this tractor here. I think he's seen me. Yeah. Always feel a bit. They always have a big trouble. I was a bit sympathetic to tractors, especially with trailers, just because it's a real hassle for them pulling out, isn't it? They've got so many things to consider with that trailer on the back, and they're not exactly fast at accelerating either. You do hear of quite a lot of accidents on motorcycles going down country lanes, hitting tractors, and I'm sympathetic to motorcyclists and also to tractors, because they might just be pulling out really slowly. They've made every effort to pull out, and then a motorcyclist comes round a bend. I think there's a lesson to be learned there, and I always try and remind myself of it as well, and that you should only go round a bend as fast as you can see ahead of you. Even if you know the road, you never know if there's a car stopped, broken down on the other side of that on the other side of that bend. That's basically where you have to stop quickly, or you're forced into the other lane, and then you could hit someone coming the other way. Yeah, so better to go around cautiously around bends than kind of max out on a kind of blind corner like that, really, even though you might know it. Yeah. So we're just coming to a place called Pennaford here. Yeah. Again, what's just you can't see it, but just over to my left, I'm seeing the hills of North Wales and a distant mountain called Mulhammer. I say mountain. Anyone in New Zealand or North America or the Himalayas will think it's not much more than a molehill, but they do call it a mountain. Yeah, Mulhammer. But actually, it's a really pleasant area, really pleasant walk, and also a good ride out as well. Right, so here's a Corwin turn. There we go. Here we go here. As you can see, Corwin, and it's the Corwin Road. We're not on the Corwin Road yet, but basically the Old Stores Café starts at the Corwin Road. Let's keep to the speed limit. There we go. So as you can see, this is just really nice kind of motorcycling roads, really. There we go. Bends, you know, kind of surrounded by trees and hedges. Just make you manage a corner properly. There we go. Give me a wave, nod. So you see a lot of motorcyclists coming here in Row, just because they'll be coming from the Old Stores Motorbike Café, which is only about a mile away now. When we go into the motorbike cafe, I'm just hoping there's going to be a space. It's quite a big car park there, but there'll probably be quite full of motorcyclists, all kinds as well. I love seeing some of the motorbikes there, especially with the old classics sometimes. Or maybe even mine. People might consider mine to be an old classic, given that it's over 20 years old. There you go. I gave him a side nod then, but I noticed he didn't give me one back. Maybe it's because I haven't quite perfected my side nod. There we are, Pontblyddyn. I don't know if you saw the sign there, covered by bushes and trees and whatnot, or hedgerow. So this is where the Old Stores Café is. I think when we get there, I'm just going to arrive at the car park and then turn my camera off, simply because I'm not going to go in and walk around. I think unless I ask the staff there and things, I wouldn't want to kind of walk around with the camera. Like, it's strapped to my chest. It looks a bit invasive in my mind, and a bit rude. So the good thing about it, when you get here, there's a couple of places to eat if you like, and just off to my right, you won't be able to see it, there's a garage, a petrol garage. So if you're coming from afar and whatnot, or not even very far, you've got a place to buy yourself some petrol and other bits and bobs. Yeah, so let me just see if I can turn there. So we've got the Bridge Inn on the left, nice pub, little beer garden. Nearly stole there, that would have been embarrassing, wouldn't it, on a film? There we go, turn left up this way. So this is now the Corwin Road, so if you followed this, yes, obviously you get to Corwin, and a nice motorbike road it is, and you can see the sign, Llandegla 8 miles, Corwin 19, and Bala 29. Bala's another nice ride out, and certainly a place where a lot of motorcyclists go to. They see a bit of as a venue, stop there, get some chips and whatnot, and see them on stop by the lake. And here we are, the Old Stores Motorbike Café. Let's go in here. Ding, 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 ding. And just look at the amount of motorbikes we've got here. And what they have got, they've put out these little bits of wood for you, just to put your side stand on, so it doesn't all make a mess in the tarmac. Engine off. There we go. I hope you've enjoyed it. If you have enjoyed it, please put a like in, and I might make more of these, and hopefully maybe make my trips a little bit about motorbiking, but a little bit about other things as well. Take care. Thank you.